What's up, guys? Welcome back to Build Cool again. Today, we're back to work with our 1986 Honda Helix CN250. And in this episode, I was planning to relocate the battery, mount the rear fender, the brake light, the turn signals, and maybe even get the fuel pump. But upon further inspection, while I was looking at where I was going to put this rear fender at, I realized that I can't get the bolts. The upper bolts in the shocks are stuck in there because I just welded it just a little bit too far up there. So we're going to go ahead and start by cutting out what we did in the last episode, so that way we can find a better home and maybe figure out how to make all this work a little bit better. After we figure that out, we'll be able to hopefully have enough room to mount our rear fender in there, and then while we're cutting everything, I'll cut the battery tabs, so then we can work on relocating the battery box and maybe even get to the fuel pump this episode. Fingers crossed, if everything goes smooth, we'll be able to get back on track. This shouldn't be too complicated, but who knows, if I can't figure out a good home for it right away, it could eat up a lot of time. But before we get started, let's go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep on building cool shit. The way I'm looking at it, I feel like within maybe 3-4 more episodes, we'll be ready for paint. Then it's just a reassembly of this thing and we'll be riding. So that's maybe a month, maybe 2, and this thing will be back on the road, which really isn't that long. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on anything. But with all that being said, let's get started. Alright guys, so things got a little iffy, but we were able to figure it out and we got our shocks mounted back on here. Now, on this side, I was trying to make sure to have clearance to not only just get the bolt out, but I have to watch out for the spark plug and everything. And then on this side, things are just hitting the exhaust header, so you gotta try to keep it up as high as you can while still being able to keep the bolt out. So unfortunately, they're both a little bit different of angles, but I don't think that's gonna really matter because it all ties together. It's all only going up and down. It's not flexing or doing anything weird like that. So I feel like this should be okay. On top of that, I did weld it out a lot better than I did last time, so it should be a lot more solid right now. It still needs some finish welding, but it's like 90%, which is a big plus. And then while we had some time, we got our battery box mounted in here. So all I did was just move the battery box back like 6 inches or so, but I think that'll give us a lot cleaner of a look since we have a little bit more room back there to work with. So now I'm gonna get you guys all set up. We're gonna stick back here, get our rear fender on. That has our brake light, and we have to attach our turn signals to it as well. I think we're just gonna go drill some holes through the top because the way of the little inserts I got, I think that's gonna work the best and give me the most leeway with screw lengths. That way I don't have to like get precise and cut little screws, and yeah, just a headache. So we'll do that, and then I've got an idea of where I want to put the fuel pump, so we'll take care of that as well, and then we'll call it a wrap on this episode. So with all that being said, let's keep going. after another late night, well, early morning / late night, cause the sun's already about to come up. But we got a ton done. I did not expect to be able to get the rear shocks cut off of here and figure out what I was gonna do to fix that, on top of getting everything that I wanted to get done finished as well. So the shocks are mounted back up, rear fenders on there with the turn signals and the brake light, the batteries relocated, the fuel pumps mounted, but that is not the hardware I'm going to use. Do not worry, I'm not putting screws into the battery when the battery's in there. I need to go to the hardware store for that. And I also threw an air filter on here since it finally came in, and I don't want this thing to sit open any longer than it has to. So now that we've got all that done, we're gonna call it a wrap on this episode. Next week, we will, I don't know, I really want to address the floorboards or foot pegs depending on what I decide to do. So maybe we'll address that in the next episode. But before we get out of here, let's go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep on building cool shit. This thing's gonna be done before you know it, and we're gonna be riding, and I want to do quite a few ride episodes with this thing. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace!